Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning into Data Demands podcast, where we connect the dots between MarTech and marketing landscape. Stay tuned to MarTech 360 as we explore key strategies for your marketing success.
All right, hello and welcome to MarTech 360, where we decode the complexities of technology with industry top expert. MarTech 360 is more than just a media platform. It's a community of over 2 million marketing professionals who rely on us for our expert analysis, market intelligence, and actionable insight. My name is Samarth and I work with Data Demand. If you're passionate about intersection of technology and marketing, this episode is a must listen because today we are honored to have Bruce Clay, a true pioneer in the field of SEO. If you have ever researched about search engine optimization, chances are you have come across his name. He is widely regarded as the father of SEO, an industry leader with over 24 years of experience and the founder of Bruce Clay Incorporated. Bruce has dedicated his career in helping businesses dominate search ranking. His insights have shaped SEO strategies of countless organizations, from mid-sized company to Fortune 500, giants like Home Depot, eBay, Netflix, to name some. He has spoken over 300 conferences, authored multiple authoritative books on SEO, and even received the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award from the History of SEO Advisory. Bruce, it's an absolute honor to have you today. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Bruce. Bruce, let's take a step back in time. In 1996, the internet was still in the early stages, and SEO, wasn't even a widely recognized term yet. But you saw something that others did, and you decided to establish Bruce Clay Incorporated. What inspired you to venture into this field? And did you even anticipate how influential the SEO would become in years to come?
Well, the biggest answer is no, I had no idea how big it would be.
Right.
In 1996, I was interested in doing consulting. So what can I do as an individual? What can I do? And that is just when the internet was catching. I had a background in mainframes and optimization on mainframes, performance. My background is I have a bachelor's in math and computer science,
Right.
but I also have an MBA. So along comes this internet, and it's marketing, and it's technical,
Right.
and it's algorithmic, which means I could reverse engineer it. And that was something I thought would be fun, something I thought was very appropriate. So I did it.
Right.
And I wrote some tools. I started analyzing websites. I thought I would be a consultant, so I'm at home on the internet. Back then, if anybody remembers 1996, we had modems.
Yeah. One used to make stuff.
Terrible browsers. Yeah. And so it was slow and tedious, but I developed some tools and methodologies. I did it, and people hired me.
Right.
And then, that's good. I'll do it some more. And then more people hired me. And then I had to hire people. And then before you knew it, I was a company.
Right.
And to put it so that everybody understands, 1996 is 3 years before Google.
Yeah.
We were on Excite, Alta Vista, InfoSeek. I have a search engine relationship chart from way back then.
Wow.
And it was really interesting in that every search engine, most of them got their information from another search engine.
Right.
They were buying the index from each other because it was so expensive to do it yourself. But that's how it started.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun.
I'm sure it must be. Especially when you look at it from the early days to now, it's a 360-degree full circle, And it's incredible that how you have recognized the potential of search engine so early, and played a pivotal role. And I'm sure this must be satisfying to see where it is has progressed. From start, I'll not say it's finished, but it's at a pace where it's expanding into full potential.
It's a little like the difference between Pong, the original kind of computer game,
Right.
and where computer games are now.
Right.
If you can imagine the difference between a primitive game and where we are and apply that to SEO, that's how it's changed.
Right. And that's a great metaphor. Fast forward today, AI is AI is transforming nearly every facet of digital space that we operate in. Given this evolution, how do you see AI integrating with SEOs and business operations to not only enhance cost efficiency but also bring in or drive scalability?
Well, it's going to be all over the board. AI is a tool, not a solution,
Right.
at least not yet. And as a tool, I'm finding it is getting its fingers in everything. There's a lot, you can't do payroll without AI being in there somewhere. You can't run a business without, I'll bet you can't even get coffee without AI.
Right.
I mean, it is getting to be everywhere.
Mhm.
I am sure it's only a matter of time till it runs all the stoplights and traffic signals in every city. It's it's going to be very much in use.
Mhm.
Often not where we would touch it,
Right.
but in use. The Internet of Things.
Right.
I could see AI actually looking at the rate at which I consume beverages and telling me that I only have 3 days left.
Right.
And I can see that happening. And that is a classic example. The stores would do that.
Right.
They would have something that would be able to predict when you're going to run out so you never run out.
Right.
And I can see that everywhere. In the SEO space,
Mhm.
it's a little different
Right.
because most of the people in the SEO space, myself included, are using it to do very exotic analysis.
Mhm.
Things that would take us a week, so we never started it and never did it, now can take half an hour.
Right.
So, of course, we're interested in it. And the fact that it isn't tedious
Mhm.
is going to cause it to be embraced.
Right.
I just, the way we've been doing our tools, and we have a full product
Mhm.
for this, but the way we've been doing our tools is we prototype it as commands,
Right.
ChatGPT type commands.
Mhm.
We get it working, and then we port it into our application.
Right.
And because we want to have control over it.
Mhm.
There's many times when chat doesn't have the answer, or chat can't do that,
Mhm.
or we're not going to give chat access to our pay-per-click account.
Right.
That information doesn't belong in chat.
Right.
But we can call our own routine, and we can do lookups, and then we can take data and give it back to chat. So I see that there's going to be a lot of hybrid tools with AI
Mhm.
that are designed for SEO
Right.
and programming. We have ours is massive.
Mhm.
We have some scripts that are over 500 steps.
Right.
One script, 500 steps, and totally changes the accuracy and the output. But because you can do it, we do it.
Right.
And then we decide it does or does not work. I mean, here's a quick story.
Uh-huh.
So we developed our tool and we put it out on a soft launch.
Mhm.
It's called Pre-Writer. We put it out on a soft launch, and at the time, we gave all the research information we possibly could. Then I went to a writing team and I said, use this research to create a page
Right.
and time it. How long does it take? And it turns out it actually took longer
Wow.
because I gave them so much information that they didn't need,
Right.
but it took time for them to figure out they didn't need it,
Right. I
right?
I get it. Yeah.
So we had to actually refine
Mhm.
what information for human performance
Right.
interfacing with an AI performance tool.
Right.
And now we've got it just screaming.
Right.
But, it's slow. By the way, that's the other problem. AI is a little bit like modems, right? At the time, it looked pretty fast, but compared to today, it's like nothing,
Right.
right? I remember 9600 baud was fast on a modem, and now I'm running on gigabit
Yeah.
connections.
True.
And I think it's only a matter of time until AI becomes that efficient,
Right. And
but it will.
it will, 100%. That's undeniable. And the role that it is playing or it will play in search engine optimization is something that like you talked about the tool that you created, and it what took you probably days to do it, now probably in few hours you are able to do it. So it's from it is revolutionizing from predictive analytics to automation, and it's kind of helping. It does bring in the efficiency or probably bridges, but there's an ongoing debate about the content creation. Interestingly, you brought up about the content creation tool where it helps the researchers to give the input. But do you believe that AI generated content could ever be fully replaced or replace human writing? Or the
Oh, never.
originality or authenticity will always be a ranking factor?
It turns, those are different questions.
Right. There are three questions.
The first answer to your question is that AI, at least in today's models, is designed on a word sequence basis. It is a consensus engine. And so it is great at answering a question that is well known and well answered.
Right.
That's what the LLM is all about. And so it can give you prior thought. What it can't do is create new thought.
Right.
That's one of the reasons our product was written the way it was. We can do the research, which is, left brain, right brain. We can do the research component and then give it to an artist, the writer,
Right.
and let them understand the nuances of your business and the subtleties of what you've already written about in other documents and the intent of your market.
Right.
Because AI doesn't know your market. AI doesn't know your business style and tone and values. It doesn't know I'm writing for just this purpose.
Right.
Because it says, I have a keyword, I'm going to write for my purpose. So I don't think it's going to ever, at least not anytime soon, displace writers.
Right.
I believe that what it's going to do is empower writers to be more artistic.
Right.
You can be more thorough because if the research uncovers things, I wouldn't have thought of that. If it could do that, then it helps the writer be more of a leader in the writing space.
True.
Now, that's the tough part, right? Because I don't think AI is going to be that person ever.
Right.
But AI can do what AI does. The problem is we have this issue where AI is fast, so I can get it to do things that I don't have time to do. The problem is it does things you don't care about. That's the problem we ran into, right?
Right.
I can say for any, in SEO, for any one item, to determine whether this page has that item, determine why that item is important, and give me 10 things to fix it.
Right.
Well, that means that I could take anybody and say, here it is. That analysis was done in what, 10 seconds? Or some short period of time.
Yeah.
And I can analyze an entire page for the clear get you off the ground level. And AI can do that.
Right.
But it isn't going to be creating new thoughts.
Right.
It may discover a thought you didn't have,
Right.
but it isn't going to be a new thought. It's going to be somebody else's thought.
Right.
And going beyond that's hard.
Right. Probably it can give you a new perspective of the existence, which you might use it to have your understanding better. Right. Perfect. That's it.
Now, I think that that's going to help. And I think that in a lot of cases, like, how do you do keyword research? And I can ask AI, give me 40 steps to do keyword research, and it will.
Right.
And then I just use that as a checklist. I can give it to somebody that's never done keyword research before, and they could do it.
Right. Brilliant. That's a great perspective on how to use. And while AI has made incredible strides, and I believe that human creativity and authenticity would still hold a lot of value, and probably it will help us to become better versions, and evolve better. Speaking of evolutions, search engine algorithms are in constant, state of flux, requiring businesses to adapt quickly. We have seen it from, every year, for businesses to adapt and maintain their visibility. What worked few years ago may not longer be effective as of today, making it crucial, for companies to stay ahead of emerging trends. From your perspective, what are the most critical ranking signals today, in 2025, as compared to those from the previous year or past years?
Well, this has been, that's an open topic.
Yeah.
Previous or past years, I'll start at the beginning and walk through. In the beginning, it was all about keywords.
Right.
Then it became more about themes. I'm talking about this subject, not just that keyword.
Right.
And it has evolved well beyond that. And that is where a lot of companies have been hurt. You see, you have to adapt.
Right.
It's one of those adapt or die problems. And companies that have built their website 10 years ago built it around keywords and things. They didn't build it around usability, or what's now referred to as EEAT, expertise, etc.
Yeah.
So if you're not thinking about how to have your site optimized for today's world, you won't. And that's why things are being left behind. For instance, usability. Here's a simple breadcrumbs. There's a lot of argument. I don't want to do breadcrumbs. It's a line that looks ugly at the top of my page. I don't want breadcrumbs.
Right.
Well, it's a usability factor. Here's a good one, jump links. Now, you're going to be shocked with this, but if you don't have jump links, you're not usable.
Right.
I have gone through my entire site And I'm not done yet, but I've gone through thousands of pages on my website adding jump links.
Right.
And if you don't do that, you're not usable.
Right.
And it's the shift of how do I be, you have to think, how do I make this user friendly, not search engine friendly,
Right.
without giving up the signals the search engine needs? Right? Do we still have canonicals? Of course. Do we still have schema? Of course. Do we still have the word should be in the title? The word should be in the body? Of course,
Right.
because if you don't use the word, you're not about the word.
Right.
But the page has evolved to requiring more usable types of presentation. And, it's expensive to take a 5,000 page website and put jump links on every page.
Right.
But if you don't do it, you just gave up the opportunity to be first among equals.
Right.
And so you ask me, what is the most important thing? You have to follow all of the search engine friendly advice, for sure.
Right.
There's probably 30 major things that the search engines care about. Now let's talk LLM and AI.
Right.
You see, the LLM is a composite of information, but it's not a spider. It doesn't care about links. It doesn't care about canonicals.
Right.
It doesn't care about any of that. What it cares about is what's the information, right? How is it strung together? How is the language and syntax and natural language processing going to analyze that content and understand the content?
Right.
But nowhere in there does it say, oh, a description tag is important. I mean, it doesn't care about it. The difference is that and I'll use search for ChatGPT as an example. What it does is it relies on Bing to say the site's not a spammer. The site qualifies the rank for that.
Right.
But it doesn't care. It's not presenting one site data.
Right.
It's presenting a composite of 10 sites,
True.
right? And all it needs to know is it worthy? So it uses the search engine to determine if it's trusted, if it's authoritative, is it an expert on that subject? And then it's part of the LLM for that particular structure. And so what we're finding is more and more people, by the way, more and more people know to ask questions. It used to be like 4% would ask a question on Google. Now it's 16% and growing.
True.
So I believe it's soon going to be the case that people will not only ask questions, but they'll learn to make them complex.
Right.
Do this, then. What are the top 10 baseball teams? And who is the top hitter on each team, and how old are they?
Right.
You could ask that question of chat and get an answer.
Right.
Try that in Google.
Yeah.
It won't happen.
What happened?
And I think that we're finding that users are learning to ask questions, and that the chat components, the AI components, are relying on the search engines as a filter
Right.
of whether or not the site qualifies to be part of the LLM answer.
True. True.
And so do you have to do SEO? Oh, absolutely. If you're not anywhere in Bing, forget it.
Right.
If you're not anywhere in Google for Google, forget it.
True.
If you're not anywhere in the top 2 pages, forget it. Because all those questions, you're invisible.
Right.
And I think that what we're finding, and all of us don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
that Google is putting more and more Google stuff at the top of the page.
Right.
I'll call it Google stuff.
Right.
You know, they have AIO
Mm-hmm.
and local packs, and they have images and news and all. There's 42 different things that they could put at the top of the page.
Right.
And if you want to click on the first organic listing, many times you have to scroll. You know, in the beginning, it was right there at the top.
Right. Right.
Now you have to scroll to find it. And so we're, as SEOs, we're somewhat upset because they're taking our organic data,
Mm-hmm.
and using it for their own advantage,
Right.
right? Here's the difference. If I do it right,
Right.
what they're putting at the very top of the page is my name.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be one of the AIO references. I have to have the number one position.
Right.
I have to be there.
Right.
We all understand that Google is in the business of making money.
Mm-hmm.
Raise your hand if you agree. And so what we have is a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because Google is in the business of making money. They're not in the business of organic results.
Right.
But it's a symbiotic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to have the organic results to get the visitors.
Right.
But then the first thing they do is hide the organic results down on page 2. And you know, it's a tough world.
No, it is. It is.
You got to be in AI. In order to get in AI, you got to optimize.
Right, right. And plus, Google also has been making tremendous changes to the entire system, specifically like EEAT, like experience, expertise, authority, and trust, because they want to stay relevant to the consumers. As search engine, usually strive to prioritize high quality, credible content. SEO plays a critical role in that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you briefly spoke about EEAT influencing search rankings. So, in your view, in 2025, how significant are EEAT in influencing the your ranking?
Very. See, Google has kind of tolerated the people that manipulate ranking, right? That's part of SEO. We try to get ranked.
Right.
But they have always cared about who comes to their site and clicks on the ad,
Mm-hmm.
much more so than my website.
Right.
They tolerate websites.
Mm-hmm.
It's a necessary evil for Google to have websites,
Right.
no doubt. That's the way life is. They got to have it, but it isn't their market.
Mm.
Their market are the searchers,
Right.
not the web authors.
Right.
And EEAT, it was originally introduced because of the Google Quality Rater guidelines, which are updated constantly or often.
Yeah.
And those guidelines, the EEAT was sort of an explanation to the raters about what you should be looking for in general,
Right.
right?
Right.
Now it's bigger. For instance, one of the things that's common is maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Is the site being maintained? It's on like a fourth of the pages, I think.
Right.
And, well, you can't add an M in front of EEAT because that just smells meat. I mean,
Right.
so I don't know what you're going to do with it. But there's a lot of things that Google has come up with
Mm-hmm.
that are general guidelines for rating a website.
Right.
And they embraced it openly, telling all of us, site owners and SEOs and web designers and everybody else
Right.
that you have to write to at least this level of satisfaction,
Right.
or you don't qualify.
True.
I mean, if you are not an expert, not authoritative, and not trusted,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason for them to ever show you.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
Right.
So, is it important? Yeah, I believe it's vital. Now, Google says it's not really an algorithmic variable,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure that EEAT is probably 20 different things added together in the algorithm. The algorithm is 300 plus. There's probably enough things that look like you're trusted or look like you're authoritative or look like you're an expert. And I'm sure there's no one variable called EEAT, but there's a whole bunch of little variables in there.
Right.
And, they collectively influence the search engines.
Right.
So I'd say yes. I think far and away,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of things that are important are usability. What's a usability? It's how fast is your site?
Right.
Believe it or not, the speed of your site is usability.
Right.
But they're calling things usability, which is probably 100 different things. They're so, and by the way, Google has its own language. They're totally happy to confuse everybody. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to say, if you push this button, you will rank. They're not going to say that
Right.
because they know that there's an audience that is going to fake them out and spam them.
Right.
They just want to give you vague classifications of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where EEAT comes in.
Right.
And that is where maintenance comes in. And that is where all of this stuff, usability, I mean, they're vague terms. Every person that does SEO has their own interpretation, I am sure.
True.
You do, I do. What I think is usable, you may not. But somehow the search engine is going to figure it out. Right?
Right.
And there's clear signals. For instance, is my site transactional or informational?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
if it is informational, there is an expected architecture.
Mm-hmm.
If it's transactional, there's an expected architecture. And it actually turns out, and we learned this with our own tools and built it in, that the persona, you need to know the persona matched to the intent of the query. Because that same person actually has two different personas based upon the intent.
True.
And nobody's talking about that in the SEO space.
Mm.
I mean, there's one persona. Wrong. The intent is, if I am trying to buy something, my persona is entirely different than if I just want information.
True.
So there's all of this becomes very complex, and it really takes a lot of thought to figure out what is usability in a transactional page versus an informational page.
Right.
The definition of usability changes.
Mm-hmm.
The definition of expert changes,
Right. And that,
right?
yeah.
And all of it changes.
True. Yeah. And so goes the authority as well. Search engine, Google search engine is something that every SEO or in every technical SEO has to be there. But there are few very actionable insights you gave that specifically talk about the usability, the the authority, the expertise that we all have to follow if you want to stay relevant in 2025. And there's moving beyond that, there's another major shift that is happening in the entire landscape is Google's phase out of third-party cookies. A move that will have significant implications in data privacy, ad targeting, and overall marketing strategies. As businesses adapt to privacy focused web, the impact on search engine optimization and user engagement is undeniable because of the data. So how do you think this shift will change websites to optimize for search and engage their audiences?
I think from a search engine point of view, their view is that data is harmful. I mean, users will behave as users want to behave.
Right.
And that if they give you too much data, then you will manipulate the user.
Right.
You will cause the user to go down a particular funnel. And that isn't really to the benefit of the search engine.
Right.
Right? And I mean, the search engine would prefer for a user to be totally confused than to have to click on 10 ads instead of just one.
True.
They'd rather them have to hunt than to know. So I believe that it is contrary to the purpose of a search engine that is making money on ads to get people off of the search engine.
Right.
We know Google is doing what they can to keep people within the search world. And so I don't know. Here's a good example. Years ago, Google decided that in analytics that they would take away the keyword, right? They wouldn't track by keyword so that because it was privacy violation, right? They gave away too much information if you could track by keyword. The interesting thing is that they decided to keep it for pay-per-click because that served their purpose.
Right.
Well, if pay-per-click doesn't have a privacy problem, neither does organic.
Right.
Right? So they should have kept it. The problem they had with it is that it was a lie. You see, they put in place web history. So what I searched on before I searched for this keyword may have caused the traffic. But if I just look at ranking for that one keyword, it might be number 30 instead of number 3.
Right.
Web history changed the results.
Right.
And so for years, even when they gave us keywords, it was a fallacy. We were assuming that keyword ranked on its own merit, not considering web history biased the formatting of the results. Well, now what they're essentially doing is saying, you got a visitor, be happy. You don't need all this other data because you don't know how they found you.
Right.
Attribution is a killer. But in my opinion, the cookie is an ad mechanism. It is useful. It depends what you're trying to do with it. If you just want to know, did they ever visit my site before? That's a different thing from exactly what city and what state and what time of day and what sex, and that stuff is a little beyond what Google is wanting.
Yeah. Right. I completely agree. And
I think that cookies have their purpose, but they've been sort of usurped, and people have made them do too much.
right. Right. And with all this privacy first strategies are becoming the new norm. It is forcing businesses to rethink how to track and engage users. Speaking of strategies, SEO professionals have ever expanding toolkit at their disposal. So, are there any SEO tools that you consider indispensable, or the ones have truly stood the test of the time in your approach to optimization?
Google Search Console is the top tool.
Uh-huh.
It is the gospel, according to Google, of Google traffic.
Right.
However, it is Google only traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to use Google Analytics to get the total traffic pattern. We have used SEMrush. We've used Ahrefs. Our current favorite, I abandoned SEMrush and went to Ahrefs.
Right.
And in part because of some of the features that they offer.
Mm-hmm.
All of them give you misleading information.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if you look at the traffic projections, they're commonly 15, 20 times more than you actually get.
True.
If I rank number one for a keyword, that number's off.
Mm-hmm.
They can't anticipate web history, but even then, that number is off.
Right.
Right? You have no clicks. You have, no clicks is 2/3 of all queries. I mean, come on. You have no clicks. You have all sorts of things. So a lot of the stats that you see, you have to learn to adapt to.
True.
Right? If I say this is 1 inch,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter if it's 1 inch.
Yeah.
It matters that it's 2 times this.
True.
It's a proportionate number, and you have to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
So the tools that we use on a regular basis, I subscribe to about 60 tools.
Wow.
But then I have my own tools,
Right.
right? I own SEOtools.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's my tools.
Right.
I own SEOtraining.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's my training site. I own Bruce Clay, which is my services site.
Right.
And in the area of tools, I find that if I need a tool, I build my own. Because the tools are one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
I get the same data as a million other people.
Right.
That doesn't make me first. It just makes me the same. So many times we have to write tools. We write our own spiders. We write our own page analyzers.
Mm-hmm.
They're all part of the tools. So which tools? I trust the Google. I trust Ahrefs.
Mm-hmm.
I have all sorts of other tools we run.
Right.
They're utilities. They're tools,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, think about AI this way. AI is a tool.
True.
Is Ahrefs a tool or a solution? Well, it's certainly not a solution.
Yeah. True.
Well, AI is the same thing. AI is a tool, not a solution.
True.
I'm the solution.
100%. 100.
Work with me. But, the wisdom, there's a difference between data and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And the wisdom to use the data is what is SEO. And it's even, your own internal team and your writers and anybody that looks at the data and says, but, if anybody says but, keep them. Because they can think around just the numbers.
Right.
SEO does that all the time. You got to be flexible,
No,
and you gotta do things. So
absolutely. And it's always interesting and fascinating, to hear about the tools. There are so many tools, with so many choices available. Selecting the right ones, could be very hardest task. Even with the best tools, many businesses struggle with their long-term strategies because everything is changing. What are the biggest mistakes, in your opinion, that companies make while they try to scale their SEO efforts? And probably typical 4 or 5 mistakes that they do.
they don't get training.
Mm-hmm.
mean, how has everybody learned SEO? I mean,
Probably by
you go,
making mistakes.
yeah, but you don't have visibility to all the things that matter,
Right.
right? You have, I go work for a company, I only see their problems, right? So having agency experience where you see a lot of problems
Right.
is very useful. The other problem is when, so I have SEO training, I give a course, right? It's a very high end 3-day course. Everybody that comes in thinks they know SEO.
Right.
And it takes like an hour before they say, I know SEO, but I didn't know that. And I didn't know that.
Right.
And I didn't know that. Because they learn by stumbling through SEO.
Right.
They're not taught SEO. So I'd say the number one problem is that people aren't fully trained. The number two problem is the expectations are not realistic. You don't have the tools to implement.
Right.
And you don't have the cooperation of the whole company.
Right.
There are a lot of people who have web design teams. One of the biggest problems that we as an agency face is we don't have the keys to the client site.
Right.
Right? A public company is not going to say, oh, go edit my website. I mean, that isn't going to happen, right? So we work through the marketing team. And the marketing team, in turn, works through the web design implementation team. And what happens is the changes we ask for pile up.
Right.
They don't get implemented. Implementation is one of the big problems.
Right.
And if you could solve the implementation problem,
Right.
then the SEO team could go full speed.
Right.
But after a period of time with all these prerequisite changes not implemented, what other changes can I give you? And that chokes the system.
True.
And I think that's one of the big things. So you're either not trained or you can't get it implemented.
Right.
Right? Many times you're on an archaic system. One of my sayings, it's not the job of SEO to make a pig fly.
Right.
If your site is terrible, SEO's quite limited,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you have to have the ability to implement the technology necessary to achieve your goals. You do one keyword, you get 1 million results.
Wow.
Why are you in the top 10 if you haven't changed your technology in 10 years?
Right.
What makes you think you're worthy of being at the top
Right.
if you're behind? So you can't have a pig. You have to have reasonable ability to stay current in the technology space.
True. True.
And even if you were WordPress when it first came out, that's not the WordPress of today,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're dealing with the major change, Gutenberg, and all these things that happen even within a WordPress environment. Your e-commerce platforms change. Your everything changes,
True.
right? Then the other problem is those were 3. The other one is I'm dealing with content that's out of date.
Right.
For instance, I'm selling something and the manufacturer gives me a description and it's the same description as 10,000 other sites.
Yep.
Why am I number 1 in that flood of equals?
True.
Right? That, by the way, that's where AI is. We've got a tool that's part of our tool set that part of PreWriter where you give us your description and we rewrite it for you.
Right.
Now, you can do that one at a time or you can have us do it for all of your descriptions.
Right.
Well, now you're no longer equal, you're better. And that really changes your ability to rank. But if you don't do that,
Right.
you're being held back because you're the same as everybody else. Right?
True.
All of these things have to happen. And then we'll go right down to technology. How fast is your website? And can I change it? And do you have other people with their fingers in the pie, brand managers, or even web design people?
Right.
We had a site, they came to us after they did it. They couldn't figure out why they were losing their rankings. And what happened is they migrated from this platform to that platform. And they moved it all across. However, somebody in their design team, their web design team, read that Google rewrites your page titles when they put them in the search results.
Okay.
So they decided they weren't going to migrate any of the page titles. Every page had a title that was the company name.
Oh.
250,000 pages where the title was just the company name.
Same.
Because somebody in the web team read Google's rewriting it anyhow, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Right? You either involve SEO in the future of this absolutely critical resource or prepare to die.
True.
Because if you SEO is no longer a luxury,
It's a necessity.
it's a necessity.
Yeah, 100% agree. And that's an important lesson for everyone listening, and the ones who would be listening. To stay relevant, you have to think long term, adapt, and rather than chasing quick wins, because SEO is all about understanding, being consistent, and staying relevant, like you mentioned. Right.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Any advice for customer experience, and specifically for the business leaders aiming to make this, lasting impact in the era of, any advice that you have for them?
I think that one of the biggest problems is that you have to maintain the tone of your site.
Right.
I know that doesn't sound like it's a high priority item,
Right.
but your site has a mission and a value statement,
Right.
and you have to deliver on it with every page of your website.
Right.
And if you don't know that I am here to help you, if you don't make it obvious, you're just putting out content, right? Oh, I didn't have a writer, so I hired a bunch of bloggers to write my content. They wouldn't know. And if you're just pumping out things that are contrary to your value statement,
Right.
I think that is a big thing for CEOs to understand.
Right.
Is SEO ever done? Yeah, SEO will be done when Google stops changing things and all of your competition has died.
Right.
Until then,
That's
SEO lives on.
That's never going to happen, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think your competition is planning on dying. And,
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. I have 100 keywords I want to run. And most people have thousands.
Right.
I have 100 keywords that matter.
Right.
Each keyword has different algorithm issues, different intent, and different competitors.
Right.
That's not one SEO project, that's 100 SEO projects.
True.
Or 1,000 SEO projects.
True.
Because each keyword, if it's worthy of the effort, is a project.
Yeah.
And then you got to make it fit. The intent is a big thing. If I say search engine optimization, and I've done a lot of research with AI and interpreting and feeling this stuff out. Search engine optimization is informational, clear intent to inform. Like 100% informational.
Right.
Search engine optimization agency the entire opposite end.
Yeah.
Clearly transactional,
Right.
right? And you can't just say, well, I optimized for search engine optimization, therefore I should get all of these derivatives.
Right.
That isn't the way it works, right? Each word is a project. The scope of an SEO project is non-trivial,
Right.
but when you create the content and when you create things, you have to understand intent, and then you have to make sure it has a value statement that matches your company and a tone and a voice. Do you use humor or no humor? Does this keyword use humor, but that keyword doesn't?
Right.
There are the subtleties on a page-by-page basis,
Right.
I think, is underestimated by CEOs.
I
I think the people at the top of the food chain need to know this isn't that simple.
Right.
There's 300 variables according to Google. There's over 500 according to Bing, right? And I'll tell you right now, the job of SEO is like, well, the way I describe it is it's like juggling Rubik's cubes, trying to solve them in midair.
Right.
And then I watched this video of somebody that did it. But that's what it's like,
Yeah.
right? Because when can you count on Google to make a change? Because they made a change while we were talking.
Right.
5,000 changes a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2,000 of them are to fix the things they broke yesterday. I got it. But even that's one change a day.
Right.
Oh, no, it's 10 a day. Oh, no, Monday through Friday, it's 15 a day. That's how many changes you're going to see from Google. They may be minor, but they're doing it. So you're dealing with a moving target.
Right.
SEO is tough because it's a moving target. It is a real-time business simulation.
Right.
When you think about it that way, anybody that did an MBA had to take a business simulation session. It's real-time against a million competitors.
Got it.
And that's all we have to do is beat them.
Right.
Real-time.
Absolutely.
With hundreds or thousands of keywords.
Right. And it's about staying consistent, staying disciplined, and staying in the lane will help in long term. Will it be okay to say that?
I think that, well, yeah. The problem you face is go back to training.
Right.
Nobody even knows what the lane is.
Right.
And then Google changes the rules.
Right. Perfect. Now, that is very interesting and fascinating, Bruce. Bruce, before we wrap up, what's your take on where SEO is going to be in next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I'm a big believer in futures research, so I'm always looking 1 to 2 years out at least. We're going to see a stabilization. Google and others are going to get better at detecting regurgitated content. They're trying to do two things. Here's the hard part. They're trying to do two things. They're trying to know that you are consistent with the common knowledge.
Okay.
And they're trying to know that you added to it.
Right.
That is today's battle. For the next year, sites have to understand, how do I not say things that are blatantly wrong? How do I support the industry with common known facts, yet still give information that is a little bit on the bleeding edge end of it? Right? How do I show I'm a leader? How do I show my thoughts, my accomplishments, and all of those things? Because you have to do both to be at the top of the food chain. And I think that is the evolution over the next year. I think that beyond that, AI is going to be everywhere. Some of the AI So I have a patent, and one of my patents is you take a keyword, you take and get a Google result, you take the top results, you spider each of them, you analyze what they're doing right and wrong in the density, frequency, page size, etc., and you use that to build or recommend for the next page you're working on.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Well, guess what? AI can do that through a complex prompt. They can do all those steps in a complex prompt.
Right.
Okay? Guess what? We're going to be seeing AI capable of breaking virtually every patent for software ever created.
Wow.
I'm expecting all sorts of chaos. I could actually take all the Google patents and probably rewrite them as AI prompts.
Right.
And is that a violation of the patent?
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we're going to see a lot of legal issues over the next 2 years.
Right.
I think we're going to see a lot of inventions in creative ways
Right.
over the next 2 years. We're going to see new tools that never existed before in the SEO space.
Right.
We're going to see more empowerment of writers. It used to be that SEO was here and writing was here.
Right.
It's
leveling
the
up.
same.
Yep.
So what we're going to start seeing are writers learning to do SEO
Right.
and SEOs learning to do writing.
Right.
And that is going to become a hybrid.
Right.
And I'm guessing that the marketing department is going to have a need to have everything trained and cross-trained.
Right.
I think we're going to see a lot of that within the SEO space.
Right.
So that's where I see it going in 2 years.
No, absolutely. Bruce, this has been an incredible, insightful conversation. Your expertise and contribution to the SEO industry, I must say, have shaped how businesses approach search engine optimization, and it's been an absolute honor to having you with us today.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Perfect. That is for today's episode. If you have enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your network. Stay tuned for more expert insights in the world of digital marketing and SEO. Until next time, keep optimizing, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next episode.
We are signing off from this episode of Data Demand, but the journey doesn't end here. Stay tuned to MarTech 360 for more insights and strategies that can help you master the MarTech landscape.